What's up, guys? Welcome back to the ASAP Automotive channel, and today we're going to start rebuilding our transfer case. So what we got here is actually what's called a NV231. Some of you guys are like, it's new process, or it's an NP231. Well, used to be new process, now it's new venture gear. And so when this one come around, it was an NV231. They're the same freaking thing. So anyways, the main thing we were doing was doing a slip yoke eliminator kit on this. From the factory, these things come with this yoke slips in and out on the drive shaft. And it's a neat little idea, but you know, if you put any more power or put any kind of lift, they really suck. And that's like the first thing everyone does is does away with it. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna go ahead and completely rebuild this while we got it out, because we got almost 190,000 miles on this thing. So it's the perfect time to go ahead and just rebuild it and be done with it. You can go in and actually upgrade these. There's like where you can change from, I think it's a three pinion planetary in here, and go to a 6-pinion, and you can go from the 1-inch chain to 1 1/4 and all that. We're not going through all that crazy mess right now, just to kind of keep costs low. Ever gives us any trouble, then hey, we'll do an episode on upgrading it. But for right now, we're gonna go ahead and get into this thing. We're gonna do an episode on tearing it all down, then we're gonna do a second episode on putting it all back together. So let's get at it. All right, so ours is kind of an oddball. You know, it's already got the 44 option in the rear, which is kind of an odd option. Cool option though, we're cool with it. But this one actually has a harmonic balancer on the back. You don't see too many of them with it, but it's no big. If yours does have this, what you got to do is, the easiest way to do is, there's 3 different threaded holes right here. So you just take, they're 6mm by 1.0 thread pitch, get them at least like 2.5 inches long or whatever, and you start them in and run them down till they touch, and then just go around and keep tightening more and more on each one, and that will walk this out and basically press it off of the shaft so you can get it off, get to the seal, and do the rest we got to do. If you don't have this on there, don't freak out, just ignore this step, and then we'll pick up at the next one. But so guaranteed you're gonna have a bunch of rust and corrosion and stuff in these threads, so you try putting these bolts in there, they're gonna bind up, break, or whatever, or cross thread. So what you want to do is, we went ahead and sprayed some like penetrating oil in there, and go ahead and get you a tap, a 6mm by 1.0 thread pitch tap, and go ahead and clean out these threads before you try putting a bolt in there. Otherwise you're gonna have a bad day. Okay, so works just like that. You run the bolts in, they push out on the back, and you might ding this up a little bit here, but it's okay, especially in our case, that we're doing a slip yoke eliminator kit. If you aren't, you really should be anyways. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pull the speed sensor out, we're going to take this yoke off, and then go ahead and work on getting these seals out of the way, and move on to the next thing. And the speed sensor just pulls out like that. You just got the one little bolt holding this fork on. You're just going to pull it out, set it to the side, and let's go around. We've got 1 1/8 nut here. We're going to go ahead and knock loose, take off, slide the yoke off. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. Comes off just like that. You don't really have to worry about any orientation on this one or anything, so we're good. Alright, just walk around. Like I said, if you're doing a slip yoke eliminator kit, you don't have to worry about beating this up too bad, but I mean, don't get crazy anyways. So if you've already got a slip yoke eliminator in there, then definitely don't beat it up. So all right, we got a couple of snap rings in there we're going to get to in a minute, but let's go ahead and take this other seal out. Oh, never mind, it's my neighbor. All right, so Then we've got actually just an outer snap ring on that one. So we'll go ahead and catch in there, pop this one out, and then we'll go ahead and pop these two out. Now there is a special pair of pliers that you really need for these, and I don't really have them right now. They didn't come in time, but in a pinch you can make regular snap ring pliers work. Just take a little bit of effort. So we're gonna go ahead and get these two out, and that way we can start working on getting the snout off. Okay, so as you're taking these apart, make sure you set the snap rings off on the side and remember where they go, because you're going to reuse those. Seals and stuff, of course, you're not, but the snap rings are. There's no real, I mean, unless one's ate up or wore out or something like that, and you might need to get a new one. So set them off to the side, we're not going to lose them. So go on to the next one here. So, yeah. This one might be better with. Alright, so we've got our seals out, we've got our snap rings out, and now we'll go ahead and work on taking the snout out. So be careful when you do this. We're going to take these bolts loose. We're going to go ahead and take a dead blow and knock this loose. I don't think this one has any grooves where you can stick a screwdriver in it, just the main case. There's a pump back here, an oil pump. Oops. Like so. This is a new one we'll be putting in. And it has where a pickup tube comes in that goes down here and sets down in here into a screen. That's where it sucks up the oil, pumps it through, and keeps everything lubricated. So don't be crazy when you go pulling this apart, because you want to knock this loose a little bit and kind of get under the screwdriver and knock this loose. It's going to be real fun when we go back together with this thing, but for now, just be careful not to break it, because you don't want to have to replace that pickup tube or screen. And it comes loose just like that. Remember, we're doing the slip yoke eliminator kit, so the snout's going away anyways. But if in the case you weren't doing that and just rebuilding, be really careful. You don't want to break anything. So, like I said, just be really careful. Get in here with a screwdriver if you can. Okay, well, the pump just decided to stay in there. It's awesome. Okay, and take off. And that's what I was talking about, guys. This is the pickup tube that goes in the bottom of the pump here. It's got a little O-ring. Gets real fun when we go back together with this one. You guys will see it in the next episode. That tube, you'll see in a second, runs all the way down here to a little screen, and that's where it picks up the fluid and pumps it through. Alright guys, so now that we got all that off, what we're going to do next is go around and start taking all these bolts out to go ahead and take this case half off. So we'll go ahead and get at that. Alright, so we got our bolts all out. Yep. Alright, so in along here. Okay. Alright, in along here is little cutouts so we can actually get in there with some kind of pry bar or something, or like this, like a little screwdriver, and just walk around and pop it loose just like that. Remember, you're working with aluminum, don't get stupid. And I'm making a mess. We just thought we drained everything out. And by the way, guys, a lot of these 231s are pretty much about the same. So there are some differences between the number of pinions in the planetary and the width of the chain. This one's actually a 231J. I meant to say that earlier. It says it somewhere. Yeah, 231J, because it's in a Jeep. So find one in a salvage yard laying around, that's an easy way to. But they come in everything from like Dodges, like half tons, Dakotas, I think the Durangos, I think the Durango actually had the 1.25" chain, don't quote me, but even the Chevrolet S10, like this 231 was in a ton of different applications in some form or fashion. So that being said, let's go ahead and gut this bad boy. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and slide this out like right here, chain out. Looks pretty good in there. No real crazy wear or anything like that, so chain's got a little bit of flex in it, but we'll set it side by side to the new chain in a second and see how much it stretched out. Alright, go ahead and take our spring and set it aside. Don't forget to put this back in there, you're going to have a bad day. We're going to take our mode fork assembly, slide it on out, keep all that together. Hey, the actual guide bushings are actually still in one piece and actually on there, so that's cool. We'll talk about those when we go to put it back together. That's all good. That's all good. We'll slide this out like yeah. Go ahead and set this right over here. Alright, so this is why we put it in neutral earlier. Now we're going to go ahead and do is take this bolt loose so we can go ahead and move this around and go ahead and pull this fork, the shift fork or whatever you want to call it, off, and then we're going to come back, take the nut off of here and slide that out. So let's go ahead and get this off. For anybody wondering, that's a 7/8 on that one. So be very careful when you take it out. Let gravity help you out here. So if you notice, it's got a whole spring and a little detent on it. So just set it off to the side. So, all right, go ahead and get this fork out. Now we can slide it around like that, pull that out, set it over here, everything's together. Now, we got to come back and take the nut off of here, slide this arm off, and we're going to take our dead blow and knock this back out because there's a seal and I think a washer in there. So. Alright guys, so once again we got one of these little cutouts here where you can go ahead and stick your pry bar in. We got our bolts off of here, just a couple little 10mm head bolts that come out. So this thing is siliconed in there, does not want to come out, so let's see if we can pry on it a little bit. And there we go. Sometimes that silicone really holds it down. So it didn't really mar anything, so we're good. Alright, so we'll go ahead and set that on the side. We're going to change that seal out when we go back together. Now we got another snap ring here, and actually two different snap rings. We pull this one off, planetary setup comes out, pull this one off, and we get the bearing out. So let's get at it. Once again, it'd really help if I actually had the proper snap ring or proper pliers for this, but I like to party, so. Let gravity do its thing. Like measure it. Alright, so we got that snap ring out. We go ahead and drop our planetary out. And like I said, having the right tools really helps, so I am definitely going to order me a set of those pliers. But in the meantime, we're just making do. So we'll go ahead and get this one out, which will hopefully be a fair bit easier, probably not. Okay guys, this is what I was talking about. This is a planetary gear setup. That's what one looks like. It's a gear reduction. So this one has 3. You could actually machine it out for 6 on this one, it looks like. So there's different companies out there, I think, that make conversion kits and all that, where you can actually just order a whole new 6 pinion. But like I said, for right now, we're just going to stick with this. It should be fine for whatever we are, and heck, if we break it, we'll just build it better. So let's go ahead and set this to the side. Now we're going to go back and go ahead and knock out our bearings. So let's go get our seal and driver remover. Okay guys, so one kit that you're really going to want is a bearing seal and driver, or race and seal and driver set. I picked up this OTC one the other day, part number 4507. It's a great little kit. I think I only spent like 50 bucks or something on Amazon for it. I have an old kit, but it's like over the years that soft aluminum is just wore out, it's beat up, pieces are missing, so went ahead and bought a new kit. But with all the bearings you're going to be pressing in and knocking out, and the seals and all that, it's very good to go ahead and just spend a few bucks. Plus, you can use this kit on a ton of different things. It's not like it's going to be money wasted. So, got all these different sizes. So we're going to use these to go ahead and knock these bearings out, and yeah. Alright, looks like we got a few little pieces of metal in there, which is fine, nothing really too crazy, but there's a bunch of silicone packed up in there, and that's because somebody got in here before and did too much. Like, you'll notice when we go back with this, the real thin layer of silicone you put on there, because if you do too much like this, it piles up and sucks up in that screen. So we're going to go ahead and clean this all out and clean the tube out and everything, put it, because everything's going in the parts washer anyways. So that's your evidence why you don't use too much silicone, because it ends up right in the pickup screen and it starves it for oil, and that's when stuff burns up. So this is probably one of the crappiest parts about this whole freaking job, is the genius that decided to put a needle roller bearing in here like this. So you can go in and cut it out and all that, but I think we should have enough to grab with a blind hole puller kit, so we're going to try that. And this, kids, is a blind hole puller kit. So what we're going to do is find the right size, get down in there, set up our crossbar, and then tighten it down, splooge it out, and then pull on it so it actually pulls the thing up out. In theory, that's what it's supposed to do. So let's find out. And boom goes the dynamite, guys. So what it is, I lift it up a little bit and then set it out against here so it was away from the lip in here. So you can go in there and try to grind out and cut out with that thing, but you really run the risk of marring this up. So I picked up this kit. I really wanted to get the OTC kit, but they didn't have it in stock at the time, couldn't get it in time, so I settled for this one. It's 8 mile or 8 mic or something, I don't know. It was like 80 bucks or 60 bucks on Amazon, so decent little kit, maybe not the greatest, but hey, you know, for home do-it-yourself, it worked perfect. So hey, and it got the bearing out and we didn't destroy anything. And take the time to make sure you got the leg set right in here, so you know you're set in a good little groove. Make sure this is set up and straight. I went ahead and put it in and run it out a little bit and run it up to the edge of the bearing and then tighten it down a little bit. You don't put too much out, and you put too much outward pressure and you're fighting against yourself. But you got these locked down in, and then just start snugging it down, kind of hold it steady. And I totally forgot to warn my cameraman and about scared the bejesus out of him. But as you're going, when you put that on, all of a sudden you're going to hear pow, and it's going to start popping loose, and it's going to do that for a little bit as that bearing's coming out. So, but come out nice and clean and cool. All right, guys and gals, that's a wrap on part one of rebuilding our transfer case here, our NP231. So we wanted to split it up with the teardown. We're going to do the second episode we're going to do with going back together with everything. So we're going to leave it off there. And remember, guys, don't forget to stay tuned for part 2. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember, stock is not an option.